Hey guys, we've got the Stroper trial on global. This is the second of the 12 types takedown. It's the stone boss. We're going to be doing two clears in this video to give you two ideas for team building. They're both going to be technically budget runs, and I'll explain more in a second about that. So the missions are 10 turns or less, party of 5 or less, and no KOs. You can and should bring a friend, but I'm not going to bring a friend. I'm just going to build my own team. But this is the first team we're going to use. Like I said, we're going to be doing two clears. And we're going to be using 4 units that are very budget geared, and 1 really well geared unit that is supposed to be in the friend slot. So for this clear, we're using a well geared Tidus that you would grab as a friend if you can't gear your own as well. But I'm going to have a really well geared Tidus, and the rest of the party is budget gear. So Cyan, Ling, Cacteria, and Roka. And we'll be doing another clear after this to, again, just show you some different ideas for team building and how to do the fight. So the boss is a stone. It's weak to fire or earth element. Either one is fine. It does all physical damage, and it's all non-elemental, and it's all evadable. Also, you can Mirage it. So we're just going to provoke and then use Mirage to deal with the majority of this. So Cacteria is provoking for us with Evasion, and you do need death immunity as well. So we're going to use Roka on turn 1 to Plant Killer. Because this is a budget run, we're not going to use the good one. If your Roka is EX3, this is obviously a better version of Stone Killer. But we're going to go for the cheap one that all Rokas have available. We're going to imbue the party with Earth. And I didn't entirely specifically plan out what I was doing per turn. So we're going to, I guess, just haste to fill LB gauge. Ling is going to triple. We're going to shift first of all. We're going to triple. We're going to do Mirage for the party. We're going to do Dragon Dancer to fill LB for the party. And we're just going to do a Moving Dance for an attack buff. Didn't quite get Cacteria's LB, which is fine. Oh well. So we're going to go ahead and do Hollowed Desert. We're going to do Thorny Teamwork for the Fist in Peril. And we're going to do an 89% defense break on the boss. And we're going to start chaining on these guys. We're going to just use triple Stardust Ray with Cyan. We're going to do triple Stardust Ray with Tidus. And, we imbued with Roka. We broke and all that with Cacteria. So here is the damage for turn 1. We'll do a little bit better in a moment once we get our good buffs up. Okay, turn 1, very, very simple. Let's go ahead and I guess we'll use Roka to do her LB this turn. We're going to use Cacteria to do her LB this turn. And Ling, honestly, already served a purpose. I just wanted Ling to refill the LB gauge for Cacteria so we can get her LB quicker. So Ling, Samurai Doma Cyan is actually, oh my god, is going through his mana so dramatically faster than I realized he would. I did not know he was going to guzzle his mana that badly. Okay, so we're going to have to fix that with Ling. Okay, we also want to do Combination Step for support chaining. Don't forget we did Mirage last turn, by the way. So the AoE on every even turn, we just Miraged. Cacteria is using the Seraph Staff as well, which allows me to ignore the unavoidable. Let's go ahead and do this, which allows me to avoid the unavoidable Petrify. Yeah, I can't talk. So we're gonna go ahead and use Tidus to support chain or cap this turn. We're going to use Cyan to. Jeez. Really? I had no idea Cyan drank this much mana. What an absolute disaster. Okay. I kind of want to get triple cast back up too, so we're gonna Celestial Dance too. Okay, so we're gonna Cyan, so much, man. I had no idea. I had no idea. I definitely would have, changed things. Changed this party. I would change his gearing. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and deal some damage with Tidus. Cap the SLB. There we go. Cyan is so out of mana right now. This is absurd. There's the death. We're immune with Cacteria, so it's like whatever. Let's go back to the base form with Cacteria. Let's see. Tidus is going to triple. We're going to... And... do I even have mana to do this with Cyan? I guess we can Passionate it a bunch. Ling is like killing herself. Which is... Thankfully, next turn Cyan's going to use his SLB, so... We're okay for the moment. I guess Cacteria can LB, and Roka will refresh Stonekiller, Imbue, and Haste, I guess. Alright, we'll go ahead and chain this up again. Alright, so... Yeah. There's Cyan's SLB finally. So we're going to have Ling. We don't want to kill Ling, so we're just going to do Celestial and double Passionate. Yeah, she'll survive there. Alright, so we can use Tidus to triple. We're going to Spiral Cut. We'll support chain with Cacteria, who will... We'll go to the shift form to refresh the Seraph buff. And we will 1, 2, 3. Let's see. And then Cyan will do his SLB. I guess we'll go ahead and chain this up for now. Oh, okay, there's the end of the fight. So that worked. We actually didn't even have to get to, we didn't even need to get to Tidus's SLB a second time. But here's the party we used. Pretty cheap build. Most of the team is mostly naked. So Roka is just using literally whatever. If you don't have the Seraph Staff, Roka could have used Riku's Pouch to cure the Petrify on your Provoker. So here's her build, just whatever. Cacteria was passive Provoke with Moogle Charm, and then she had Seraph Staff, which makes us immune to the unavoidable Petrify. We're not going to use that on the next clears. If you don't have that, you can use the next clear instead. Death immunity, there we go. LB fill, shift form, passive provoke, evasion, etc. Ling, just some healing and LB fill, and there we go. She did Ling stuff. You do want to Mirage the AoE on even turns, so turns 2, 4, 6, etc. Or you can physical cover them for using a tank. Here's our budget Cyan, who did not have enough mana to do this fight. Definitely, if you're bringing Cyan, gear him for a mana reduction, or bring a mana battery, or use some items or something, like an elixir. But here's the budget build Cyan. You know, no STMRs, very cheap gear. Here we go, 5,500. He did his SOB once. He had 300 LB damage, 300 Stonekiller. And then the Tidus we brought would be a friend Tidus that is geared very well. He definitely carried the majority of this fight. So here's the Tidus that would be the friend Tidus. Fist build because of Cacteria, you know, STMRs, killers, LB damage. Decent build. If you've got the Aron card, even better. I don't. Maxed LB and maxed Stonekiller. So that was the team. So in short, a Provoker with evasion, status immunity, and death immunity. Also, if you have it, a way to give unremovable status immunity, like the Seraph Staff. If you don't have that, you might want to use a physical cover tank. Either Mirage or physical cover on even turns. And then, if you don't kill the boss by turn 6, you're going to want some mitigation buffs for your Provoker. Because starting on turn 6, at the end of turn 6, you'll start taking damage over time on your Provoker. It's relatively minor, though. Here's the team. Like I said, the Tidus really carried that. So, there we go. Okay, all missions. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next clear using different units, and again, it's going to be a budget run, so see you in one moment. Alright guys, next up we're going to be going for another clear. This time we're going to use a mage team. The boss does have lower spirit, so this is the team we're going to be using. So for this team, we're going to be using Maeve as just an evasion cover tank. It does not have to be Maeve. It can be literally any physical cover tank with evasion. You do not take any damage. And thinking back on it, I should not have brought Maeve. I should have brought like Galoof or something, but I don't feel like regearing the party. It literally does not matter. Savior is going to be our breaker. She's going to be doing the 90% spirit break. Aerith is going to be doing Rod in Peril. She was given for free, so she's pretty cheap. Ygni is going to be support chaining and technically geared for damage, but his damage is going to be nowhere near Tiana's damage, who is going to be the friend. You would bring a friend, Tiana, geared for this. So let's go ahead and give it a go, and then I'll show the gear and the team and all afterwards. So again, same thing basically, but this time we're using Savior to provoke, and Maeve is going to be the cover unit. So Maeve on this turn is going to go ahead, Savior is going to go ahead and just shift an ATB charge to get her LB for next turn. Maeve is going to just cover. Don't provoke, we want Savior provoking. So he's going to cover and just do whatever. Fill rate buff is fine. We're going to wait a moment on Savior. We're not going to do damage on this turn. Actually, we'll go ahead and do her LB. Ygni is going to do, I forget what his spells are called. Alright, here we go. Add Fire. We're going to Vitality Fountain. We're going to Seared Wisdom on whatever. And then we're going to Gemini Enhancement. Alright, I'm pretty sure one of those is his quadcast. And then we're going to Trouble Brewing. We're going to Fire with this team. I don't really know. I guess Revitalizing Brew. I don't really know what else we even need. LB Gauge Fill seems fine. So we can do Savior's damage next turn. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So now we're just going to start chaining. So we're covering with Maeve, who is wearing Evasion. Alright, we're going to go ahead and break with Savior. Aerith will just do Rod in Peril, and then, whoops, not what I meant to do. Rod in Peril, and there's the Fire Amp. We'll go ahead and shift Tiana, and both of these units are a quintuple caster, so we can times 5 cast. And then Fire is Chaos Wave Awakened. If you're using a Bolting Strike unit, you can go with Earth instead, but it does need to be Fire or Earth. So we're going to go ahead and shift Ygni and do times 5. We're going to do Soul Projection, and we're imbued with Fire. I don't know. Wow, we'll skip that. Let's go ahead and do this. So deal some damage. Oh, I didn't bring heals for Ygni. It's really not going to matter. This fight is going to be over so quick. I didn't bring a way to heal Ygni. I think he has regeneration, doesn't he? Oh, we're fine. We're fine. Anyway, yeah, so we're stacking up Tiana. There is... Okay, so you saw Savior got petrified, and you can't avoid that petrify. If you're using Seraph Staff, you can. I didn't want to use Seraph Staff on both clears because it is a limited item. So I gave our cover tank, Second Emperor, the ability that counters with AoE Cure. If you don't have that, or if you don't counter, you could just Panacea. So if the Petrify wasn't cured, I would just Panacea there. So Savior can ATB again. We can just reload the DPS and chain. And this is probably the end of the fight right here, because Tiana is stacking up her damage, or it's going to end at like 5% or something. Oh, never mind. So that was the end of the clear. Okay, so this was again a super budget run, but here is Maeve, who is literally just wearing some evasion gear, Riku's pouch to cure Petrify, and some counter increase gear. This is the item, Lakshmi Synergy. It's from Healing Avatar Lid. It makes your tank counterattack with Isunaga, which removes Petrify. Or again, you could just cast Petrify removal with Panacea from the Riku's pouch. Savior is our Provoker. She's using passive Provoke, and Genji Shield, Evasion. The reason for Evasion on your Provoker, even though we're using a tank, is on turn 5, if the boss isn't dead yet, he will AoE Dispel before attacking, so your Provoker needs Evasion as well, because the cover will be dispelled on turn 5. So you need Evasion. So here is her build, just, Evasion and Provoke, Death Immunity, and Status Immunity. You can't resist the Petrify, so you're going to get Petrified anyway, but the boss also does Confusion and all that, so you do want to be immune to that. Aerith and Red were literally just LB fill in case we didn't kill quick enough and we had to do her LB again for stat buff later in the fight. The fight was over on turn 2, so she could have been literally naked. And as a backup, we gave her Panacea as well. Ygni was budget geared, no STMRs, cheat build, double rods because of Aerith, Stone Killer. I think we're maxed on everything. So, oh no, we're not. 265 Stone Killer, and there we go. And then the friend would be a friend Tiana, geared very well. So rod build, because we're using rod in peril. You could have used a throwing weapon too, because she does her own throwing in peril if you don't want to bring Aerith. Doesn't really matter. But a well-geared Tiana that is geared for Stone Killer. So she is geared very, very well. This would be the friend slot. So max Stone Killer, and she chained. And when we see the damage breakdown, I'm assuming Tiana is going to be the one that carried this, almost certainly. But then again, Tiana didn't really get a chance to stack up, so maybe Ygni really did good, because Ygni doesn't need to stack. We're going to find out in about 5 seconds. Yeah, okay, so actually, our budget-geared Ygni outdamaged Tiana extremely. Wow. And this is without any kind of killer buff either. We had no Stone Killer buff whatsoever. Yeah, we could have probably taken 2 Ygnis with a friend and just done imbues externally and like killed it on turn 2 or something. That would have been... Yeah, Tiana does great damage, but she's a stacker, so until like turn 4 or 5, her damage is pretty low, and then it ramps up over time. We didn't give the boss time to stack up. Anyway, there's 2 clears on Stroper. Both of them were pretty budget. We did use a single really well-geared unit. That should have been the friend slot. Again, just to recap, physical cover or Mirage for the party, Evasion Provoker with Death and Status Immunity, a way to deal with the unimmunable Petrify, either Seraph Staff or someone to cure externally. And then if you don't kill by the end of turn 6, then you're going to need some bulk on your Provoker, because starting at the end of turn 6, you'll start taking damage over time on the Provoker. Okay. If you need more, even bigger budget guides, let me know in the comments. But overall, this trial is exceptionally easy and shouldn't really give players too many problems. So, okay. See you in a bit.